The world has a deep connection to the atrocities and heroes of World War II.
Many from both sides were captured during the conflict. Texas Today's Jamie Kennedy found out Texas played a pivotal role in what would happen to some of those POWs.
Doug and Leslie, in an often unknown piece of American history, America started accepting POWs in 1942 when Allies in Europe began to become overrun with Axis prisoners. Texas had the largest number of POW camps at 72, and many were right here in central Texas, where I found one of the only ones still being preserved today.
Tears run down our cheeks and froze on our cheeks. And the next day, we got orders to march. I just like thousands of other boys, it's something we had to do, we had to serve.
When I was captured, my parents got the notice that I was missing in action. I was 19 years old.
1942, and the world was engulfed in the most destructive war in history. In the same year, America was erecting camps to begin housing the prisoners of war. In an often forgotten piece of history, over 400,000 POWs would eventually call American prisoner camps home. But what of the camps that held over 400,000 prisoners of war? Today, only a few survive, and one of the most beautiful is right here in the heart of central Texas, Camp Hearn.
Camp Hearn was a World War II POW camp. It had 250 buildings. It had a complete water system, sewer system, electrical system, natural gas system, and road system. And they actually built all that in a little less than 6 months.
World War II POW camps are often depicted with pictures of soldiers living in squalor and merely surviving. But what of conditions in Hearn? Former camp guard Matt Ware and POW Carl Blumenthal paint a very different picture.
They got 3 meals a day, and we guard them like the Geneva Conference said. They got selenium on the prisoners, was allowed a beer break in the afternoon if they had the money to buy them.
My first impression from Texas was the food, the shower. You could shave yourself with hot water. Unreal.
Prisoners were sent out to work in the community and were also afforded a lot of leisure activities.
Out there on the Brazos River putting out 300 acres of onions, and there's 2 guards taking 50 prisoners out there to set out onions.
If you were an NCO, you could do almost anything you wanted to do. You could create fountains, and many of them created some very elaborate fountains here. You could act. We had theater companies in every compound. You could play an instrument. We had orchestras in every compound. Or you could get your college education. Baylor University was in charge of education here, and they were providing a full slate of courses.
But life wasn't always pleasant. Nazi hardliners ran the camp with an iron fist.
There's some hard-headed German. They're making bad blood.
Because we had sergeants, we had essentially a Nazi takeover inside the barbed wire within the compounds. The Nazis pretty much took over inside the camp.
And anyone who did not agree with them saw no mercy.
The Germans, one night they tied him to bed with baling wire and being nearly dead with a piece of half-inch pipe.
Today, Camp Hearn is one of only a few POW camps to be turned into a museum, providing all those who visit a chance to learn about a piece of American past often forgotten. Jamie Kennedy, Channel 6 News.
Now, it is interesting to note many of the prisoners provided a pivotal workforce for the surrounding communities, as most of the American men were off fighting.
And you can find more of these facts on Central Texas Prisoners of War by heading to our website, kcentv.com.